Realocha dumelang sanbonani ndi macheroni abude, my African Diaspora News family. My name is Renelo Murema and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News channel. I'm reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. There is a mini documentary on TikTok of one of Orania's representative council explaining to us why Orania exists. And it's the story they told our grandparents in 1990, self-determination and the ability to preserve the Afrikaner culture. We all know that it's a bunch of bullshit, and the new generation of black people are starting to question a lot of things. You know, unlike our grandparents, we are educated, we travel, we are exposed to all sorts of experiences in this world, and we can see bullshit for what it truly is. And now the Oranians are getting nervous because it's not easy to trick us the way they did our grandparents. It's not easy to trick us into believing the hogwash theory about the stupid Orania. So they feel the need to do documentaries to explain themselves and justify their racist mindset. Check out this video.
We want to preserve our culture. We want to preserve our traditions, our faith, our language. These are the things that we want to preserve.
But someone might ask, if you want to preserve your culture, you're preserving your culture on a land that belongs to South Africans.
The land here, we bought, we paid for it.
From
Right.
who?
Well, at that stage, we bought it from the previous owner, which was the government, right?
But I don't think an African can leave Africa, go to Europe and say that we just bought this land and no one is allowed to come in.
Our name is Afrikaners. Our language is Afrikaans. Right. So we feel part of this continent, and maybe people don't agree, but I don't have another home. Obviously I know that I have European roots.
Yeah.
400 years ago.
Yeah.
For 400 years my people have been here.
Yeah.
I love Africa. I don't want to live any place else. I feel a part of this continent. My language grew, obviously from Dutch, but it grew on this continent.
With all the monuments that I see in here, would you agree with me if I say that this man performed a lot of atrocities in the past?
Well, I think obviously these are controversial figures, and I think the fact that we put them here in Orania with our own funding, some people are uncomfortable in the rest of South Africa to care for them, to see them in public, because this is on private land, private funds, and it's our history.
But I know it's your history, but at the end of the day, a lot of people were harmed in the process. You don't think if you are embracing this, you're definitely embracing apartheid?
Is it okay to celebrate Shaka-ZULU, Zulu leader? You know who that is?
I know who Shaka-ZULU is.
He killed a lot of people. Is it fine to celebrate him?
That's a question for South Africans.
That is a question. This is a question for Iranians.
He was more like the architect for apartheid. Do you agree with that?
I agree with the fact that he implemented a lot of policies in the apartheid era.
You don't think it's because of this that's why people have problems with it? It's because so many South Africans are not happy with this history, even though it's part of them. But I believe, like you just said, let the past be past. I mean, we can never forget our history. But I mean, I feel like this being here, it's more like a, what do you call it? Like a sword in the eyes of the people of South Africa.
I don't think so.
Do you believe that whatever you guys are practicing here is racism?
I do not believe that we are practicing racism. To tell you the truth, I've said it many times that if the question is, are there racists in Orania, I can assure you there are. There are racists in every town in South Africa, and every country in the world you'll find racists. That is a fact. The Orania model is a model of cultural preservation, and that is not racist. So you might disagree with me, but my personal belief, my honest belief, is that the Orania model is not racist at all. It is, however, a model to preserve something that we hold dear and to create a future where we can live our values, our religion, our language, and share our culture.
What this man is saying is a bunch of hogwash, and it makes me sad that the self-proclaimed superior race is not as smart as I thought they were. I'm so disappointed. Hey, this is what the black government let our grandparents fall for, perish for, this kind of people. No. Let me tell you what Orania is. It's not a town. It does not deserve the nouns and pronouns. We must call it for what it truly is, an idea of racism, segregation in the modern day world. Orania was founded by Karel Willem Boshoff, the son-in-law of the creator, the founder, the establisher, the architect of apartheid, Hendrik Verwoerd. The main goal of apartheid was to enforce segregation and white supremacy in South Africa and make this country an environment that is conducive for racism to thrive. Orania claims to be preserving their culture. What culture is that? There is no culture to preserve when the core foundation of this town is built on the same policies of apartheid. They should stop hiding under the skirt of self-determination and cultural preservation. They must say what they truly are. Orania is a cult that is there to remind us of a painful period of our country's past. Orania is a cult. The kids growing up there will realize later in life that they've been sucked into a dark world of indoctrination and isolation. It will be hard for them to adjust to the greater society. Orania is a cult. Their hatred for black people makes them limit their children's horizon and their life experiences. The black government is always preaching peace and unity under the banner of the Rainbow Nation. But the Africans or the Afrikaners of this country, both from Orania and the surrounding towns of South Africa, is always pushing for self-determination, cultural preservation, and every synonym they can find to justify their segregation mentality. They're always finding ways to separate from the rest of the state. Isn't that racism? I feel like the South African Human Rights Commission should get in front of this because it's racism at its best. The existence of that town is racist at its best. I mean, they traveled to Washington, D.C. claiming to be oppressed because the black government refused to give them land to establish an Afrikaner state. So now what do? They cry wolf to the United States. These people never wanted to be part of the Rainbow Nation. We forgave people that never asked for forgiveness, and that is our fault. These racist antics that we're seeing now it's not something new. They have been harboring racist sentiments for 400 years. Why would black people of this country expect them to change in 30 years? Come on, guys. You are wishy-washy. In that video, they said that they purchased the land from the apartheid government. I mean, okay, now that there's a new government in place with its newly established constitution and policies, why didn't Orania's land be deemed null and void? Why didn't the new government deem the payment of Orania's land null and void? Why didn't they restore that land into the state's possession? Unless the black government is still getting lease money from Orania. That's the only possible explanation, because I refuse to believe that because they purchased it from apartheid, they are fine with it. With the new democracy in South Africa, land should have been restored to the government. But now, it's too late. We left things to the last minute, and now we are tangled in lies, deceit, racism, and betrayal. Guys, but think about it. Can Africans go to Europe, carve out a piece of land and call it Viva Africa? Can Africans go to Asia, carve out a piece of land and call it Africania? Where do they get the nerve to go to other people's homelands, take a piece of their land, preserve their racist culture, and deny the original inhabitants of that country access to be free in their own homes? It's hogwash. It's only them that are displaced everywhere in the world. Everyone is in their own homeland. Asians are in Asia, Africans are in Africa, or Aboriginals of Australia, they're in Australia. But they are everywhere. They are everywhere except in the UK and in the Netherlands. They are everywhere except in those two places. And you ask yourself, who has a problem of who? Who is really oppressed? Because I think if you're in the Netherlands and you were in the UK, you wouldn't be oppressed. You'll be living free with vast land for you to enjoy with your farms and your horses and the wind blowing in your face and your hair flying all over the place if you were in your own homeland. So now you feel oppressed because you are where you are not supposed to be. And actually you are oppressing us because we don't even have space or enough land to build and develop new houses for black people that are living in disadvantaged areas. You are crowding us. And then yet you have the nerve to go and lie and say you are oppressed. You are being killed. Killed for what? So the fact that Orania was established by the son-in-law of the founder of an apartheid regime or the apartheid government tells me that the history or the culture that they're trying to preserve is that of racism, that of segregation and division. And guys, I have a question. You know, something has been boggling my mind as I've been, speaking about Orania and its existence. What if now the population of Orania grows and they have no space for land? What are they going to do? Are they going to come and ask the government for more land, or are they going to forcefully take close by neighboring lands? I foresee another Israel and Gaza situation, and with Donald Trump involved and sticking his nose in a business where he does not belong, or a business he knows nothing of, and letting that rotten Elon Musk whisper in his ears and causing mass confusion and division and causing and talking divisive talks. I foresee another Israel and Gaza happening. Just you wait and see. Once they run out of space. But like we said, we are the new generation of black people. We are not like our grandparents where we're going to lie down and take it. No. They try it, they will meet an end so cruel the devil will weep. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you